¿Qué estás viendo? El podcast de cine de ADN 40. Con Andy Montoya. ¿Y tú? ¿Qué estás viendo?
Escuchas ADN 40 Radio. ADN 40 Radio. Siempre conmigo.
Thank you so much, first of all, for your time and for this movie. Armand feels incredibly intimate and deeply unsettling. Where did the idea from this story came from? What inspired you?
First of all, I had the idea of the character of Elizabeth, the main character. I had her in mind for a very long time, but I didn't know, which, universe I was going to place her in. And then I heard this story about, which a friend told me in a party, which was only like 15 seconds. And it was a story from when he was young and he he witnessed something similar that is being described in the movie. And I had also, been working in a school for 3 years, and then I imagined how awkward it must be for me as a teacher to tell the parents that something sexual had happened between two kids, and from that, the whole story and the film grew in my mind.
And I also find the film that is built like in a very contained space, both um, physically and emotionally. How did you approach creating tension in such a confined environment?
I mean, the location was amazing. All of us, from the production designer to the cinematographer to the light department, got really inspired once we arrived at the location, and I had scouted 250 schools or something before I found this one, because I had a really clear imagination of how this school was going to be and feel like, and we hadn't found anything, and I kind of lost hope. But then my producer actually by accident found this school, and then we went to see it, and we just like really felt it could have the atmosphere that I wanted, which was this, claustrophobic space, a lot of close-ups. We never see out of the windows almost. We really feel we don't know the geography in the school. We don't know how the different rooms relate to each other, how far it is from one place in the school to another place. All of this, I feel, create this claustrophobic kind of contained tension in the school.
And well, also I think that Armand's point of view is like central, yet we barely see him. So what interested you about leaving so much of screen and letting the story, unfold around him?
I think it's, in general, I feel it's I love movies when I can participate, with my imagination. For me, that's one of the greatest things, for example, by David Lynch, is that he offers me so much participation in his movie, because I can imagine a lot of the things that are not being seen or not being said or not being understood. So it was just a very natural choice for me to leave, Armand and the kids out of the film. It also felt natural because so much of the film is the characters kind of judge each other based on prejudice and things like that, and I wanted also the audience to make their own judgment about the kids based on the parents, because that's what they do in the school. They judge the kids based on who the parents, are, and vice versa.
And also, the story plays a lot with moral ambiguity, especially with the mother figure. Did you want the audience to feel conflicted about who to trust?
Yes, that's the short answer. Yes, I really wanted to make characters that had a lot of ambiguity in them, and I'm generally very attracted to scenes and characters that, for example, in this movie, every character here is both, almost every character is both a victim and an abuser, and Armin as well. he's an abuser maybe of Jon, but he's also maybe a victim of, you know, violence or abuse in his own home. So I wanted, and the same with, you know, Elizabeth and Sarah, they are both victims and abusers. So I wanted to play with this constant ambiguity and gray areas in every aspect of the movie. That was a big key to how I directed the film.
And also, I feel that Nordic cinema often embraces moral complexity and discomfort. Did you see yourself as part of that tradition, or did you try to set Armand apart or something like that?
Yeah, I never thought about how this will fit in a Nordic contemporary cinema thing. I never thought about that. I really focused on making a film that showed, you know, my personality in a way that I watched a lot of first feature films in the years before I made Armand, and I noticed that the first features or the debut films that I really enjoyed was the films that showed personality and courage. And for me, that was a very important thing with my first film, not to save it.
Also, I think that the narrative focuses on women, mothers, teachers, lawyers, all central of the conflict. Was this a deliberate choice, or what did you want to?
I mean, almost every film I made is from a female perspective. I think it's easier in a way to write from a female perspective. I don't know if I'm able to distance myself more, or if but I also been surrounded in my upbringing by much more strong female characters and personalities than men. So it's just like it feels more natural for me, to be honest, to write from that perspective. It's simple as that.
And
I didn't try to say anything about specific female narrative. I really don't focus too much on gender. I try to make the characters as interesting as possible.
And last, if someone goes to Armand to see Armand, knowing nothing, what would you tell them to prepare, like, you know, their emotions, their instincts?
What I have been saying in quite a lot of introductions is to be open and trust the movie.
Well, thank you so much for your time, and congratulations on this movie. I really enjoy it, and congratulations on all the